And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday on Spreaker Radio, Roar, 1776 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Also on 405 Media Radio, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Also, the Pundit Press, PNN Talk Radio, and SHR Media Radio with the Conservative Syndicate every Monday and Friday from 3:30 to 4 p.m. Pacific Time. In addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day, simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. Is where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. Dial directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. On today's show, we discuss what's in the news, new legislation the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. On today's special segments, Dr. Wireless Joel Saltzman will be here talking about new wireless technology, and Ray Mailer continues his series, The American Grid. But right now, I want you to stand by for news. But first off, I want you to know that at 3:02 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 76 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, we're going to do the news for you, and it's it's kind of encapsulated, and then we'll go back and do some more in-depth stuff. But I want to let you know the things that are really going on. So here's the 10 things to know for today, Wednesday, your daily look at late-breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that will be talked about all day today and tomorrow. First up, French hunting a second fugitive. Surveillance video obtained by the Associated Press is among evidence that leads authorities to conclude 2 terrorists directly involved in the attacks remain at large rather than just one. And why pool of potential terror attackers is growing. More than 1,200 Europeans who traveled to join Islamic extremists in Syria and Iraq have returned home in the past 2 years, and as Associated Press count shows. And Putin vows to hunt down, punish those who bombed the Russian jet. We're going to look for them everywhere, wherever they are hiding, the Russian leader declares. And who's pushing back against GOP opposition to Syrian refugees? Well, some Democrats and refugee advocates liken the Republican reaction to the United States government turning away Jews fleeing Nazi Germany. And Charlie Sheen reveals he's HIV positive. The former 2.5 Men star says he tested positive for the virus that causes AIDS about 4 years ago, but that thanks to a vigorous drug regimen, he's healthy. Well, where winter's gaining a foothold, a powerful storm dumps heavy snow in Colorado with blizzard conditions closing much of Interstate 70 in the state's main east-west highway. And protesters call for a release of a video. The footage shows at least part of an incident that ended with the fatal shooting in Minneapolis of a black man who some witnesses say was handcuffed. Authorities say releasing the video might taint the investigation. Yeah. Well, what's giving Ben Carson fits? Some advisors to the Republican presidential candidate say he's struggling to grasp the complexities of foreign policy. And heavy traffic forecast for Thanksgiving. During the holiday weekend, an estimated 46.9 million Americans will travel 50 miles or more from home, the highest number since 2007. And then finally, how cross-channel rivals come together. Showing solidarity, England fans joined their French counterparts in singing France's national anthem, Les Marseillais, before the English and French national soccer teams met in an exhibition game at Wembley Stadium. Well, that's everything in a nutshell. Let's see if we can't get a little bit more in-depth with this. Obama threatens to veto a House GOP bill on Syrian refugees. The White House threatened a presidential veto today of House Republicans' legislation aimed at decreasing screenings for Syrian and Iraqi refugees before they enter the United States, calling new requirements in the bill untenable. The legislation, which sets high hurdles for refugee admissions, including FBI background checks and individual sign-offs by top federal officials, would provide no meaningful additional security for the American people, instead serving only to create significant delays and obstacles in the fulfillment of a vital program that satisfies both humanitarian and national security objectives, the White House said. President Barack Obama would veto the legislation if it reaches his desk, the statement concluded. Well, you know what? Let's hope that they get this thing together. You know, isn't it time our government worked for all of us and not just some of us? This is crazy. At least justify why you're doing things. How about this? Stories of those who died in the Paris attacks. You know, they were artists and students, music lovers, parents, and newlyweds. The victims of last week's attacks in Paris had varied backgrounds and interests. Among the 129 killed in the attacks, here are some of their stories. Vonerique Jeffrey Bourgie, 54 years old, was out to dinner with friends who were visiting from out of town when attackers began shooting at La Belle Equipe, a restaurant near her home that she and her husband had recently discovered. Her husband, photographer Stephanie Desbourgie, who was in China for work when the attack happened, had lost his parents in an accident 3 decades ago, and he and his wife had spoken to their children about death. They talked about the importance of letting people know you love them because that love can carry you through when something terrible happens. The pair had adopted their daughter Melissa, 14, and their son, 12, both from Madagascar. Shortly after Melissa's adoption, they decided to do something to help other children from that country off the coast of Southeast Africa. They found Zakekli Sambatri, a humanitarian organization whose name means happy children in the Malagasy language, according to the organization's website. She was the one who did everything. I supported her in this project, but she was really the one who thrust herself into it. Stephanie Desbourgie told French television station TF1, adding that it was important to his wife to help the children learn and grow up, able to support themselves so they would stay and help improve the country. Yeah, you know what? How great is that? As soon as he got the call that his wife had been killed, Stephanie Desbourgie began the trip home to be with the couple's children, who were being cared for by the friends who had been with his wife when she died. Now, don't go away, because when we come back, we've got more stories for you. We're going to talk to you about the prosecutor who says Paris attacks mastermind was not arrested in the raid. You know what? We'll actually we'll talk about that a little bit. There's a difference between arrested and killed. So we'll discuss that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And you know what? Right up on the news, a prosecutor says Paris attacks mastermind not arrested in the raid. Now, heavily armed French SWAT teams swooped in Wednesday and neutralized a cell that was ready to launch new attacks, leaving at least 2 people dead after firing 5,000 rounds during an hours-long siege, a prosecutor said. 8 people were arrested. The raid had targeted the suspected planner of the attacks, 27-year-old Abdelhamid Aboud, but his fate remained unclear. Paris prosecutor Francois Moline said the identities of the dead were still being investigated, but that neither Aboud nor the fugitive attacker Salah Abdel-Salam was in custody. Well, that doesn't mean they weren't dead, does it? At this time, I'm not in a position to give a precise and definitive number for the people who died, nor their identities, but there are at least 2 dead people, he told reporters. Earlier, the prosecutor's office had said the dead included a woman who detonated an explosive vest and a man hit by projectiles and grenades. But at a later news conference, Moline clarified the earlier statement that the woman blew herself up, saying this point needs to be verified by an analysis of the body and human remains, as well as by all the forensic police operations that have to be carried out. Well, doesn't mean that they didn't get the guy, does it? It just wasn't arrested. If you're dead, can't be arrested, right? I'm thinking. How about this? The latest Interior Ministry condemns interfaith violence. You know, the latest on the deadly attacks in Paris, France's Interior Minister condemned anti-Muslim and anti-Semitic attacks on Marseille today, but made no link between them and last week's violence that has put the nation on edge. A veiled woman exiting the subway was punched and slashed with a box cutter by someone who made references to her religious dress, according to an Interior Ministry statement. In a separate incident, a teacher at a Jewish school was attacked by 3 individuals who slashed him with a knife while making anti-Semitic insults and justifying terrorism, according to the statement. The woman was taken to an emergency room and the man was hospitalized, but his wounds were not life-threatening. Interior Minister Bernard Chazaneux said everything is being done to capture the attackers. Attacks by an Islamic State group last week on France's National Stadium and a concert hall and several bars and restaurants in Paris left 129 people dead and wounded, 368 others, and led to calls from political and religious leaders for French of all faiths and backgrounds to remain united. You know, it's a time of fear, and it's a time to be afraid. But, you know, the best way to fight these people back is not to change your life. Don't let them take your freedom from you. Go out about your daily lives, but just be aware of what's going on around you. Well, despite heavy U.S. strikes, IS threat persists. In measuring progress in the American-led air war against the Islamic State in Syria and Iraq, numbers tell one story, but results tell another. Fighter jets, bombers, attack planes, and drones are dropping an average of 2,228 bombs per month on targets ranging from training camps and machine gun positions to oil facilities and weapon shacks. The Pentagon says it doesn't do body counts, but the attacks are believed to have killed upward of 20,000 IS fighters. The U.S. price tag? $5 billion since August of 2014, an average of $11.1 million every single day. The bombing has damaged or destroyed hundreds of military vehicles, including American tanks, surrendered by Iraqi soldiers, thousands of buildings, hundreds of pieces of oil infrastructure, and thousands of fighting positions, among other targets, according to U.S. Central Command figures. This sounds like a pummeling designed to bury an enemy, particularly one facing the military might and technological power of the United States. But what has been the result? In a word, stalemate. Although U.S. military officials say they see the tide gradually turning in their favor. Well, what else are they going to say? You know what? Not only what else are they going to say, I'm not even sure what I believe anymore. You know, we're not told anything of any real substance that we can believe. How about this? With Islamic State targeted, what happens to Syria's Assad? Well, the tide of global rage against the Islamic State group lends greater urgency to ending the jihadis' ability to operate at will from a base in war-torn Syria. That momentum could also force a reevaluation of what to do about President Bashar Assad and puts a renewed focus on the position of his key patrons, Russia and Iran. The Syrian leader has lost much of the country to IS and other groups in the 4-year war. Half the population has been displaced. Many areas have been leveled, and masses of refugees are flooding Europe. Along the way, Assad's brutal military response has made him persona non grata in most of the world. Portraying himself as the only viable alternative to jihadi rule, Assad has labeled all his enemies terrorists, a designation that, in the wake of the recent attacks on civilians by IS, may find greater resonance. Cutting a deal with Assad would be the lesser evil, Spanish Foreign Minister Jose Manuel Garcia Margallo said today. If we want peace, we have to find a way of getting along with Assad, at least in a transition period. Roosevelt didn't like Stalin, but he had to get a deal with him in order to defeat the Nazis, who were the greater evil, Garcia Margallo said. Well, I can see the necessity for that. It makes sense, doesn't it? Sure it does. Well, passport and Paris attacks fuels fears of Syrian refugees. After the bombs and the Kalashnikov fire of the Paris attacks, a mere document, a passport found near the body of an attacker, is generating a new wave of dread throughout Europe and beyond. But whether the document ended up there by chance or was part of an elaborate plot to sow panic is not clear. Regardless of the answer, the passport has played into the Islamic State group's hands by raising concerns that militants may be marching alongside the thousands of asylum seekers flowing into Europe. That possibility is redefining the debate over immigration in Europe and even in the United States, and prompting a backlash against Muslim refugees. The far-right French leader, Marine Le Pen, called for an immediate end to the flow of migrants into France, while across the Atlantic about half of U.S. governors are taking steps to prevent absorbing Syrian refugees in their states, citing the passport. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, I'm going to deal with the IRS loses. The first case up is a split case, and that's the tax protester escapes the tax for 1 year, but is penalized for other years. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his Services Show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh yeah, here I am, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. And first up, it's an IRS split. Tax protester escapes tax for 1 year and is penalized for others. Here's the case. An individual didn't file returns for 4 years, including 2000. Now, when the IRS assessed tax and moved to levy against him, he went to the IRS Office of Appeals. However, he made only frivolous arguments questioning the IRS's authority, so appeals upheld that levy. He then went to court, and this is what the tax court said. The appeals officer's report said that she was unable to verify that a deficiency notice had ever been sent to the taxpayer for that 2000 year. Now, the notice was a requirement for the IRS to collect tax, so it cannot collect the tax for that year. But it can collect tax for the other years, and the taxpayer is penalized $6,000 for making a frivolous argument. So, you know what? Be careful when you're dealing with these things. Make sure that you are on the right-hand side of this. Now, how about this? The IRS loses. Military retiree wins a refund. This is interesting. Robert Vircher retired from the military and drew retirement pay. He then applied for tax-free disability benefits and received them retroactively. Now, he wasn't entitled to receive both for the same period, so some disability benefits were withheld to reimburse the retirement system. But the Veterans Administration, the VA, withheld an amount to repay Vircher's gross retirement pay, not the after-tax amount that he had actually received. He said that taking this reimbursement from tax-free disability benefits caused his taxes to be overpaid, so he sued the IRS and the VA for a refund. This is what the courts actually said. They found for Vircher, using tax-free funds to repay a taxable amount caused him a loss that he is entitled to have refunded. That's exactly what you'd expect, right? Right is right and fair is fair. Let me give you one more. The IRS loses. A husband escapes tax on his wife's embezzlement. Now, in this case, a wife stole $40,000 from her employer without her husband knowing. When the theft was discovered, her lawyer told her to report it as income to minimize the penalties. But the IRS bars a couple who have signed a joint return from switching to separate returns, so her husband had to file an amended joint return with her. He later said that he shouldn't be liable for the tax due on the money that she stole. But the IRS said he didn't qualify for innocent spouse relief because he voluntarily signed the return knowing the tax was actually due. He went to court. This is what the judge actually said. This general rule poorly fits the facts of this case. Equity requires that the husband be granted relief. Well, that's exactly what you would expect to have happen in all due fairness, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I think too. Well, you've heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff. Well, that's what we're talking about right now when we talk about inside the IRS. Oh, yeah. Now, here we are inside the IRS. Now, this is not a tax court case, but these are precedents that have been set out and things that you need to be aware of. You can always use these to defend yourself. And so let's talk about this. You know, the most efficient way to obtain a tax-related criminal conviction? You ever think about it? Well, here's the thing. The IRS has figured it out, is to charge a violation of non-payment of payroll taxes or fraudulent preparation of payroll tax returns. Small business owners are especially susceptible to being targeted for criminal prosecution, as these businesses often employ workers who are paid off the books, in cash, and other workers who are arbitrarily treated as independent contractors. Now, restaurants and contractors employ millions of workers for whom payroll taxes are not paid. Now, the latest development, large employers are being hit. Example, Blackwater Worldwide, which provides security personnel to the United States government in Iraq, is being targeted by Congress for allegedly evading more than $50 million of payroll taxes. Now, I suspect that the IRS is going to not be too far behind these folks when the dust settles here. Let me do one more for you. How about this? Examination of offshore bank accounts gets the IRS's attention big time. The IRS has reported that it is investigating more than 100 taxpayers who may be hiding assets in accounts in Liechtenstein. The Liechtenstein Global Trust Bank is the institution that apparently was complicit in money laundering activities of the targeted taxpayers. How the scheme may have worked? Well, instead of getting paid for services of the sale of the property, the account holders arranged to have money deposited into an offshore account. The bank issued a credit debit card permitting account holders to withdraw cash or make purchases. The investment income earned from the assets was not reported on the tax returns. That is what happens in these particular cases. Let me give you one more. When the IRS rejects your offer in compromise, so here's the thing. The IRS will generally reject an offer in compromise if it determines that it could collect more money, albeit more slowly over time. You can file a petition with the tax court if you think that the IRS has abused its discretion in reaching its decision to reflect your offer. Now, abuse of discretion exists if the IRS employee handling your case fails to consider information submitted to him or her, or fails to follow established IRS procedures in reaching the decision. So just keep that in mind when you're doing these things. Now, do not go away. When we come back, we're going to be with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. He'll be talking about new wireless technology and what's new in offers going out there. We'll be right back with Joel right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:33 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 77 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman's waiting in the wings, and out there in Torrance, where he resides, it's currently 70 degrees and clear. Hey, Dr. Wireless, are you out there somewhere?
I am out here, and it is beautiful today.
It is gorgeous. And I don't suppose you got your toes wet today, did you?
You know what? I didn't. I went down there, and it wasn't as good as yesterday. Yesterday was very, very good. So
are you retiring? Are you retiring from the boards every week now? You tell me, no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Well, I kind of overdid it yesterday.
But it is gorgeous. Look outside, and it is just, you know what? It makes you realize why it is you live in Southern California, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you.
Oh,
boy, do we have some exciting stuff going on.
Well, let's get it. Let's do it.
All right. Well, the first news, which I think is terrific, is Huawei, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. That's that Chinese company that's making all the inexpensive, really cool Androids. Mm-hmm. I think we talked about them previously. They just unveiled an amazing battery charging technology at a Japanese battery symposium that I think is going to be significant. They are able to charge batteries 10 times faster than currently basically taken a battery to 48% in 5 minutes.
Oh, really?
How's that for amazing?
That's fantastic.
Now, the big worry with that has always been, okay, you can charge it super, super fast, but how damaging is it? How many, what kind of longevity can you get when you're rapid charging a battery?
And that's a great question. Just recently, because my wife has the cars today are so sophisticated, but she's got an iPad plug-in thing or iPod plug-in thing in her car, besides the using the phone and all the rest of the stuff. And it's been in there for, I don't know how long, ever since she's had that thing. And all of a sudden the battery has gone dead. I honestly don't know if Apple even replaces those batteries anymore, because they've built these things in such a way you can't do it yourself. And then it makes you wonder, like you're saying, if you supercharge a battery real fast, does it kind of destroy the capacity of that battery? You've heard the stories as well as I have that, hey, you know what? If you don't let a battery go all the way down to almost drain before you charge it, then the battery's got a memory and it doesn't recharge everything.
Well, that certainly used to be true with the iPad batteries, and then the nickel metal hydride, which was a newer technology, was more resistant to that and more capacity. And then the lithium ion are supposed to be impervious to that. But I've always been told that, if a battery has 1,000 charging cycles, then, that charging cycle can be from full to empty, or it can be from, 80 minutes, 80% to 100%. So I've always been told, not to top your battery off, and charge it every evening.
Yeah.
What I do is, I will get down to 20% or less, but I don't leave it on the charger every day. I don't plug it into my car every day unless I'm going to use GPS or I'm going to stream music and I have a low battery. But I believe in trying to run it down, a good deal, and then charging it every evening or every other evening for those people that don't use it much.
I might be doing myself a disservice, because I actually when I bought my iPhone, I bought the battery pack that comes with it. And so it doubles the battery usage that you have. But generally in a day, it just barely uses up the battery pack and just a little bit of the regular battery. And I recharge that battery pack every night. But I am recharging a little bit of the regular battery too. So I might be doing myself a disservice there, huh?
Well, I used a Mophie case for years. So, you got to do what works for you.
Yeah.
But certainly interesting news regarding this charging business, and I'm sure it'll trickle down to Apple and Samsung and everybody else. So I think we can expect to have better charging technology in the next year or so.
Well, you'd think that they would have worked on it long before. Isn't that one of the major complaints that most of the consumers have today, is because of the battery life and what's going on with the batteries? You'd think that they would have worked on that a long time ago.
Well, you know what? Ironically, you hit the nail on the head, because I was just reading an article by a fellow analyst who was saying that the Apple iPhone 6S does not have as good a battery life as the iPhone 6. Now, you would think it'd be the other way around.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
Wow.
So interesting. Now, we talked last week, I think T-Mobile's Uncarrier 10 binge on announcement was made that day. I don't know if it was the day after.
Yeah, you made that announcement.
Okay, good. Because that's been pretty crazy. T-Mobile's getting a lot of heat right now. There's been some people complaining that they're violating net neutrality, by making the offer they made, which is essentially they're allowing 24 companies to stream on their network without counting it against their subscribers' data usage.
What are they calling that? Monopolistic? Is that what they're trying to say? Because they've only isolated 24 carriers instead of all of them?
Well, they're not saying it's a monopoly, but some people are saying it's a play on net neutrality. Mm-hmm. And to me, anytime you do something that's in favor of the public,
yeah,
I don't think the FCC is going to be too angry. A good example of that is recently with AT&T We talked about AT&T filing a waiver for the TTY messaging over the Wi-Fi. They didn't want to offer Wi-Fi until they could get a waiver from the FCC that the FCC wouldn't fine them. Verizon just did the same thing today. I read that they got that waiver from the FCC. And if you recall, when we talked about this a few months ago with AT&T, they were angry because both T-Mobile and Sprint have been offering this service, Sprint for about 6 months, T-Mobile for 6 years, and they've never been fined or had any problems offering Wi-Fi without the accompanying text.
Okay, so now
you have to have text.
So I got a little confused. I thought it was voice over IP, but you call it TTY, and I thought TTY was something for the hearing impaired.
It is. It's a hearing aid text type thing, and basically the FCC says you're not supposed to offer any type of services like this, voice over IP, unless it also complies to the TTY hearing aid / text. Another way for people, to support people that don't have the capability of, I guess, hearing.
Right.
But in any event, the interesting thing was T-Mobile, went ahead and offered it 6 years ago, Sprint 6 months ago, AT&T waited till they got the waiver, Verizon just waited till they got the waiver, and I suspect, with this unlimited video thing, it may be a similar thing. But there's 24 different providers. I'm talking big ones, DirecTV, Encore, ESPN, Fox, Go90, HBO. What they're doing is they're even offering AT&T and Verizon stream content. So you can't say that they cut special deals with their partners. They're offering their competition for free.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, how do you complain about that?
Exactly. So I think ultimately the comparison I was making is even though T-Mobile jumped the gun and Sprint jumped the gun by offering this voice over IP Wi-Fi dialing, I think ultimately the FCC figured this is a good thing for consumers. Why should we slap the wrists of these carriers who are trying to offer value to the consumers?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, can you imagine if they did make a big uproar about that, what the consumer would be saying back to the FCC? Who is it you work for now?
Exactly.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so you don't know if we talked about it, but in the midst of all that, offering this content without applying it towards your data limits, they also doubled the data, the amount of 4G data on their plan. So the $50 1 gig plan is now 2 gigs, which is wonderful. The $60 3 gig plan is now $65, not so good, but it's 6 gigs. So that doubled. And then the 5 gig deal is now 10 gigs. And that went up $10. And we all know that they went from $80 to $95 on the unlimited plan. Yeah. And we talked about this before. I hate to say that, I'm right on this, but I told people a long time ago that unlimited data is going away. It's going up in price. Get it now while you can, because it's going to get harder to get. It's going to get more expensive. And ironically, Sprint just raised their pricing from $10. Verizon, who hasn't offered a unlimited data plan for 5 years, just raised their pricing $20 on their data plan for those poor people that are holding on and still have it. And they've been sweating people to get off those plans. They stopped the subsidies. They've done everything they can to get people off. They call it their 1% club. But these people have hung on for dear life for unlimited data with Verizon, and now they're going to pay more for it, but they still have it.
But how long, Joel, before we see the phone wars or the service wars come up again, and all of a sudden, maybe it'd be a T-Mobile or whoever it might be starts slashing prices, and everybody else has to compete or lose their customers? Don't you see that as a regular cycle?
Well, that's what T-Mobile's doing, and Sprint is following suit. We just saw Sprint. Obviously, T-Mobile does something. They raise their rates. Sprint raises their rates. T-Mobile offers something. T-Mobile started with the voice over IP. They're all offering that now. I suspect they're going to have the other carriers are going to have to start doing this streaming business. But T-Mobile, it seems like they're always starting these promotions.
Yeah, they're the first guys out of the box. Hey, listen, we've got about 25 or 20 seconds left. You want to give your contact information, and we'll be right back with you after this.
Sure will, Robert. Joel at drwireless.com. We're on Facebook.com/drwireless, and our website is www.drwireless.com.
And we'll be right back with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman, after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. Joel, you've got the microphone, my friend.
All right. Well, when we left off, we were talking about how T-Mobile is driving the market. And another way I think they're driving the market, I don't know if you noticed this, but Sprint also announced that they're adopting T-Mobile's model where they're not going to charge overage fees, but they're going to offer 2G unlimited service. So once you reach your data allocation, they're going to throttle you, which always sounds so terrible, but I'd rather get throttled than pay overage fees personally.
Yeah, absolutely. And besides which, for most of the stuff that you're doing, that 2G, you're not going to really notice much of a difference, are you?
Exactly. For email, social networking, social media, it's just watching video, and voice over IP you might notice.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting, Sprint's adopting that, and just another example that the little guys seem to start the trends, and I don't know that the shareholders of AT&T and Verizon will want to adopt that and do away with data overage fees, but we'll have to see.
Yeah.
But anyhow, on a more positive note, don't know if you heard about this one, but a group from MIT developed a product that's got built-in tiny sensors that collects vital signs as it travels through the digestive system.
Wait a minute. Wait, back up. Say that again.
We're talking ingestibles, Robert.
You're kidding me.
Ingestibles. This thing is the size of a pill, and you basically swallow it, and it takes a unique journey through your system. They haven't used it through humans, but they've already run it through 6 live Yorkshire pigs.
So hopefully this is not hopefully this is not a reusable thing, right?
No, I don't believe it would be. But anyhow, they've already run this through pigs. They say that pig bodies are, believe it or not, similar to humans, and that this amazing device, is going to be used by soldiers, athletes, astronauts, and colonoscopy patients, and that it's providing information innovasively.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
It monitor, and the thing that's unique is up till now they've only been able to monitor one thing at a time, and this thing's got a microphone, a thermometer, and it's got a battery with long enough life to pass from mouth to rectum. Large mammal.
Man, I got to tell you, there's so many things going through my mind right now that I can't say.
Anyhow, I can imagine, but I thought this is just an application of technology that might make getting a colonoscopy a little bit more pleasant, if nothing else.
Well, I tell you, I'm at an age where I've had a colonoscopy. There's nothing's going to make that pleasant.
It's no, you know what? It's the prep. It's the camera must love me. I had no issues with it. The prep's the only tough thing. So I fear no colonoscopy at this point.
Yeah, I don't. The
first one that's scary.
Yeah. Yeah, the first one is scary, and then you realize that for me, I was kind of interested to see what was on the screen, but I fell asleep, so I didn't. The next thing I knew, I was awake and it was over.
That happened to me the first time. I was getting ready to yell at the doctor, saying I have a 10:30 appointment, and it's already 10:40. Can somebody do something? And I looked around, and I'm thinking, who are these people? And I realized I was in the recovery room. And they did it. I didn't know.
So is this thing have a camera on it too? You're saying it takes the place of a colonoscopy? Really?
It's a pill, and it's got a camera, a microphone, and a battery. It's amazing.
That's amazing. That's amazing. God.
Anyhow, the other thing that you may not have heard of, tomorrow, Windows 10 is getting their first major mega update.
There's a Windows 10 update coming through tomorrow?
Coming through tomorrow, and it's going to squash bugs and add some new features.
Wow! So is it going to be? Will it be one of those automatic update things that Microsoft does, or you got to do something?
Yeah, but Microsoft says don't call it a service pack. They're touting it as Windows as a service, and they're going to push it through. And it's going to fix a few things, one of which is it's going to make your units boot up faster. They say it's 30% faster than Windows 7.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And you'll get handwriting, ability to set reminders in Cortana's virtual assistant app, and some other goodies. Oh. And a lot of it you won't see. It'll just improve, some little glitches.
I'm in support of that.
Happens tomorrow.
Hey, that's terrific. I'm in support of that, which means that when I turn my computer on tomorrow, it's going to say, wait, we're updating something.
It's very possible you may see that.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
You know what? Before I forget, I wanted to mention I saw a smoking good deal on a device. Anybody looking for a great phone, the Samsung Note 5 was just advertised for $550, and it's like an $800 device. But unlock Samsung Galaxy Note 5, $550. It was advertised on eBay, a reputable retailer, And I think they sold, last I checked, they sold over 240 of them. I don't know how many they have left, but this device normally goes for $800.
Wow.
So this is very much like an iPhone, 6 Plus.
Whoa.
Very good device. But for $550, it's available on eBay, and I think it was Breed, BREED was the name of the retailer. But they must have made a special purchase. But these things are going like crazy, and it's a heck of a good value.
Wow. So
and I think they'll even offer 6 convenient payments with no interest, I think I read. So if that's the case, it even makes it easier.
I'm surprised that they didn't just blow right out of them.
Well, they may have. I saw this morning. I haven't been there this afternoon, so I apologize to anybody if they're no longer available, but it is a very good deal.
Yeah, that sounds like a good deal. Do you ever worry about, changing phones and formats and things like that? I mean, you get so accustomed. I'm an iPhone user. I went from a smartphone, a Windows type smartphone, to an iPhone, and I am just so hooked on iPhones. It scares me, the thought of changing to another phone.
Well, the i ecosystem is like the mafia. Once you're in, it's hard to get out. They make it very, very convenient. And they make you a deal you can't refuse. You get a new device, you put in your Apple ID and your password, and bang, it's set up. Your ringtones from the previous device, your screensavers, your lock screen, all of the content just moves over seamlessly. And I appreciate that because, in my business, I'm constantly getting asked, I got a Samsung, I need to move all my content and pictures and text messages to Apple, and people are always wanting to move content. Fortunately, these companies are making content transfer programs available, applications, so it's easier than ever. And anybody who wants information on that can contact me. And the other thing is, a lot of people don't realize it does not cost any more to deal with Dr. Wireless. Everybody always asks me, how much more does it cost to deal with you guys than going into a carrier store or making a deal on the internet? The answer is it doesn't cost anything more. We're paid primarily by the carriers when we activate and do upgrades. We do this nationwide. We do it for most of the carriers. We do it for Time Warner. We do it for Global Star Satellite. And basically, when people activate with us, they're getting our expertise.
And that's the thing.
Expertise that we charge people for.
And that's the thing. You know what you're doing. Having said that, give out your contact information because, believe it or not, we're done.
All righty. Well, it's always a pleasure. Anybody who wants further information can contact me at joel@drwireless.com. Our website is www.drwireless.com, and we also are on Facebook/drwireless.
Hey, Joel, great show, my friend. Have a great time. Go out and get your toes wet, and we'll talk to you next week.
I'll do that. Thank you, Robert.
All right, buddy. Take care. Now, don't go away. When we come back, we're going to be with our own Ray Mailer and the American Grid. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now from Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:01 p.m. Pacific time, currently 77 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, our own Ray Mailer is waiting in the wings. It's 72 degrees and clear in his office in Long Beach, California. But let me just play his intro and get him in here.
This American pie drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye and singing, "This'll be the day that I die."
And now, from the National Archives of Public Planning, located in the basement of his Long Beach Reference Library, the unappreciated but widely acknowledged expert on past, present, and future infrastructure planning, let's welcome Mr. Ray Mailer and his American Grid.
Welcome aboard. Good to have you here. Listen, are you in the comfort of your home office, or are you in the discomfort of your office in downtown?
Yeah, I'm at my comfortable office downtown here at the client site.
That's good. So listen, you realize I'm an old son of a gun, and my heart starts to go pitter-patter, and it starts racing the closer we get to airtime. And you got in here about 30 seconds before the end of this commercial break.
Well, I tried to use some modern technology, and I sent you a text to let you know, yep, I'm dialing in. I'm dialing in.
Yeah, I saw that. and I appreciate it. So I was just joking a little bit. So how was your weekend, my friend?
It was good. It was very good. We had, as I'm sure you know, because you're done with this part of your life's journey, but, raising kids, as they get older, they take on more and more responsibilities and do bigger and better things. And my daughter did no less. She rode 20,000 meters last weekend.
Oh, she did what?
She rode a pretend boat for 20,000 meters.
Wow!
She and some teammates. Yeah, it was all part of a fundraiser. And she's involved in rowing, and which is a really fun thing to watch. But the kids, they needed to raise some funds for their team, and they all got together and rowed, and raised a lot of money.
I got to tell you, she must be in good shape. That's no easy task.
No, yeah, and that's the interesting thing to watch. Yes, she is getting more and more fit each passing day.
Yeah, I told my kids that what kids are something that you replace your wallet with.
Don't I know? I keep. It's a desperate thing to keep trying to fill it up, but it empties faster than I fill it.
I thought you'd appreciate that. Hey, so listen, what are we talking about today, or are we just talking?
No, we have something specific to talk about that I think is pretty exciting. You and I, as Southern California boys here, one thing that has not been, it's never been quite on our radar because, for the years that we have lived here in the LA area, which is LA's Union Station. Mm-hmm. We tend to use our auto vehicles to get around the city, but Union Station is kind of a rising star, and not only our ridership issues increasing, but there is a master plan. There's a grand strategy here for what to do with Union Station and how to do it. Currently, there are about 60,000 people use Union Station each day, boarding rail lines and buses. Wow. And the master plan anticipates basically doubling that, in the not too distant future. As part of the whole plan, LA County Metro purchased Union Station from a property management company for a fairly modest sum, considering what it could do, and has also been orchestrating kind of the overall redesign, what to do with Union Station. Well, I haven't been there in years, but I remember as a young boy, it was exciting to we take when they had the old red streetcars, they would actually go there to Union Station, and my mom and I, and my dad and my sister, we used to take the streetcar downtown, and then we'd wind up at Clifton's cafeteria for dinner or something, and then the streetcar back. But it was so exciting, and sometimes even just take a train to visit family up in Tulare, California, or Hanford, California. And it was just so exciting to be in Union Station. It was big, and it was exciting, and there was big, huge leather chairs that were probably 5 times as my size. Of course, at that time it was. Now I probably barely fit in them. I don't know, but it was exciting to be there. Yeah, it is, and just to kind of finish painting the picture here, the Union Station of old, it was a well orchestrated entrance to Los Angeles, just like a movie director would set up. And you talk about a few of these things. In the golden age of rail, you would arrive and proceed straight through the beautiful station and those big chairs that are still there. I sat in one myself a couple of weeks ago to pick up my cousin. Anyway, proceed straight through outside the station to a great streetcar system. You mentioned the red cars, or a taxi loop. And then what happened, the 101 came in and split downtown LA in two, and it cut Union Station off from much of the commerce to the south. And then the streetcars were removed. So the Union Station has been there, and it's now in the process of getting repurposed, and it's in kind of an awkward adolescence. We've added access to the red and the purple lines. Those, I guess, are kind of a replacement for the old red cars. Metrolink service continues to increase, and they've added a lot of bus connectivity. And so Union Station is evolving into a multimodal transportation hub, and it needs to open its accessibility to pedestrians and bicycles. I got a taste for that myself. My cousin loves to go visit Alvaro Street, and you can walk across okay, but Alameda Street's kind of big, a little bit forbidding. It's a main thoroughfare. Yeah, it's a big, serious street, and you're looking both ways to get across. So, but Metro recognizes there's a lot of untapped potential. So, what they're trying to do is to really work on this multimodal access. I mean, basically, we're on the threshold of having 4 forms of trains, 3 forms of street access, and 2 forms of foot access, all at this one station, this one small piece of land. Okay, so that sounds exciting, but I'm not sure that I understand 4 forms of trains. I mean, what do you mean when you're saying 4 forms of trains? Okay, we currently you can catch your local metro, the local rail, or Metrolink, the regional rail, or Amtrak, which is kind of the equivalent of our intercity rail, and we'll soon be adding high-speed rail to give you access throughout the state. So we're going to have 4 train systems. Currently 3, and that's plenty to work from. Now, will they work on the same track layout that they have there now? The first three will the Amtrak, the Metrolink, and the Metro. Those are already in place, and they've got their positions. High speed rail, I saw some recent design. Actually, would have it kind of going off just a little bit to the side, a little bit east of the station, still accessible by foot. But there had been earlier proposals just to put a high-speed rail station above all these existing tracks. But I think that presented some additional challenges. So this alignment just to the east of Union Station will actually take it on a nice direct path along the west bank of the LA River. So, and
I'm guessing that all of this renewal, I mean, if they want to have urban renewal for the city of Los Angeles and rebuild the city the way it used to be in the older days, they need to do something about the transportation system there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In some sense, it's kind of a return to the way things used to be, but also things are different. Particularly, there really wasn't Metrolink service back then. Regular daily commuter runs in different directions that brought people into the center, of the metropolitan area. That's new. Amtrak's been around for a long time, or its equivalent. But and then high-speed rail is going to be another game changer. The fastest way you could travel on land, and it will compete with air. To get to San Francisco. So
when you say it'll compete with air to get to San Francisco, you're not saying it's going to get there in an hour, are you?
No. But when you add up all the overhead time associated with using a plane these days. Driving there, getting through security, all that stuff. I mean,
so instead of it taking you 4 hours, it could take you 4 hours if you go by plane, or 3 hours anyway, best scenario. And it's going to take you about the same thing on the high-speed train?
Yeah, exactly. It's when we the voters passed the bonds, we said I think it has to be under 2 hours 40 minutes to get from LA to San Francisco.
Well, I got to tell you, between you and me, I'd much rather take the train. It's going to dump me right in the middle of the city.
Oh, right. Yeah, it takes you, and on top of it takes you right where you need to be.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because if you take a plane, you either got to rent a car or take a bus or do something, and you're still, if you're at the San Francisco International Airport, you're still an hour from the city. If you're in Oakland, you're still an hour from the city. So, it's a lot better. I'd rather just take a train and be right smack dab in the middle of where I want to be.
Yeah, I agree. And I do look forward to it. I think it's going to be a great find. Air travel just ain't what it used to be.
No, and what is that going to? By the way, is there going to be resistance from the airlines?
No, this is all happening independent of the airlines. This master plan is approved, and one of the key parts of the master plan is this project called SCRIP, the Southern California Regional Interconnector Project. And this project is already approved. It was approved almost 10 years ago. And the SCRIP is, when it was finally approved, is going to take two of the tracks that currently come into Union Station and elevate them a bit and take them over US 101 and connect them with the tracks on the west bank of the LA River.
Wow.
And this fundamentally changes how Union Station is used. It's currently a stub-end station, except for that one metro line, which means, if you pull in forward, the chain has to back out.
Right.
So the improvement here is so that LA can be a pass-through station, which makes it much more efficient, much more safe as well, because you can always have the engine up front. You never have the what's sometimes called the coffin car in the back if the train's going backwards. So this is going to really improve the connection, and Metrolink and Amtrak are both, they're both going to be the beneficiaries.
So Ray, you said that this project was approved 10 years ago. Is there an expiration date from the approval to the time that you utilize this, or does that approval stay on forever?
Well, as far as I know, it lasts for at least a very long time. There has been a minor change to the plan, which does, under law, require that Metro take this back to the public for some public comment. And so there is kind of an opening of the document, and
I was thinking in terms of, I approve this plan, but you have to start doing this thing. You can't wait 10 years before you begin. That's what I was talking about. So, but once you have this approval, apparently they've got all the time they want before they actually institute the plan, right?
Yeah, environmental review is not my area of expertise. It just come across it pretty often. I don't have a good answer for your question because I'm not sure. You're correct. Most of the time, shortly after environmental approval, projects move forward. In part because there's usually big demand to make it happen. But in this case, so the dock was approved in 2006. Funding was allocated in 2012, and then some minor changes have been required. So that's going to reopen the document, and I would assume then that would restart whatever clock there is for an expiration of an environmental dock. Who knows? Maybe it's simply because of that time has elapsed. Just the reason to re-engage the community. And
that's exciting. That's exciting. I mean, I actually would be anxious to take the Metrolink into Union Station and pick up a train in Union Station and take it to San Francisco. I think that would be a fun trip.
Yeah, exactly. Coming from where you are, you could take the Metrolink in, hop on high-speed rail, and be in San Francisco in 3 hours.
Yeah. That sounds like a fun trip. You know what? Just get into the dining car, enjoy a meal, and when you're done, you're there.
Yeah. The way this is starting to play out, it's starting to remind me of Switzerland, where you have part of the reason for Swiss rail success is they have all these interconnection points where you'll use some local train to get to the big train station. And then, if you're just going to the next city, you'd take the equivalent of the Metrolink, or if you're going, say, to San Francisco, then you hop on the high speed to get up there. And then perhaps, take the BART to get to your specific destination once at San Francisco Union Station.
Well, it's interesting. I was in Rome, and Marnie and I were going to go to Florence. And so we decided we're going to take the train. And so we got on the train. We had first class seats. And somebody comes up and asked if we were going to be dining with them. And we said, yeah, why not? It's the right time for that. So we went into the dining car. And we never, we sat in the dining car for the whole doggone trip. Never went back to our first class seats. It was before we knew it, the train trip was over.
Well, was it a great Italian meal?
Oh yeah, it was, but it wasn't included with the price of the first class seat. But it was a great Italian meal, yes. And it was a lot of fun. It was really terrific. I kept telling myself, well, why in the heck didn't I just get a coach seat and decide to have a meal? If I'd have known, that's what I'd have done. Trains in Europe are fantastic. We were in Denmark, and we were staying in a hotel. There was a train station just across the street from this nice hotel we were staying at. Matter of fact, it was right next to Tivoli Gardens, which is the precursor of Disneyland. And so we walked across the street, went to the train station, took the train to the airport, and then from the airport flew off to another destination. But trains are just absolutely utilized perfectly in Europe.
Agreed. And, it's a shame you paid for that first class seat, but you make those mistakes on vacations, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But to your other point about such great train systems in Europe, including good meals, if you have the legacy of the Orient Express, kind of culturally, how to make rail work for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. You know what? And my wife and I actually had the privilege of being on the Orient Express, traveling on it. And that is a once-in-a-lifetime experience that everyone hopefully would get an opportunity to do, because it's a memory you'll never, ever forget. Now, having said that, we have to go for a commercial break. When we come back, we'll be with our own Ray Mailer and his American Grid. We're talking about high-speed, low-speed, any-speed rail right out of Union Station. You want to join the Union? That's the one you want to join. We'll be right back with Ray Mailer after these brief messages.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Ray Mailer and his American Grid. We're talking about Union Station right here in Los Angeles, California. Ray, you got the microphone.
Well, thanks, Bob. Yeah, I thought we might talk a little bit more about some of the details of this Union Station master plan. Again, the objectives include trying to kind of make Union Station better integrated with the community around it, enabling easier pedestrian or bicycle access. And I noticed that they're going to, in these kind of gateway and pedestrian connectivity plans, that they're going to extend well east of the station, very close to Piggyback Yard, which is the proposed site for the Olympic Village for the 2024 Games. Within the station itself, they're going to, you may remember the underground concourse that goes underneath the tracks and gives you access to all the trains.
The tunnels.
Exactly. Well, they're now proposing to widen that and add retail and seating to this underground concourse, and also include kind of an upper level section for passengers to observe the rail operations at the station. Kids love to do that. You kind of see the trains coming in and out and in and out. And even in my advanced years, I still like watching.
Absolutely. Yeah, you and me both. When I was a little kid, I had an electric train. Loved playing with it. And then when you got to see a real one, you're like a little kid in a candy store. No matter how old you are.
You and me both. I remember some grand electric trains that I and my brothers had set up. Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, another big change is this bus terminal that I'd mentioned, which is part of one of the modes of transportation, is currently set up at the east side of the tracks, and it's a little bit. It's not exactly obvious how to get there. So part of the master plan is to move that whole bus terminal over to the west side of the tracks, placing it between the historic part of Union Station and the tracks. And so it'll be much better integrated. You can walk off your train and you'll immediately see where you need to go to catch your bus. Another big part of the change is adding 3 million square feet of new office space.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so a little bit of it to the west side, near the bus terminal, but much of it on the east side. And in fact, the proposed towers will dwarf the current Metro office building.
Do they have the dirt for this, or are they going to have to give up tracks?
Don't have to give up any tracks, and they do have the dirt. That was part of the purchase that was concluded in 2011. So Metro currently has space for all this. In fact, I don't know if you've driven near Union Station, perhaps along the 101, but you might have noticed a Denny's kind of tucked in there, and that is the proposed location for the tallest of the office towers. And then talking a little bit about high-speed rail, the plan then is that the high-speed rail station would be near those towers and would basically go over Vignes Street on its way to the west bank of the LA River.
It's too bad it's so far into the future. I'd love to believe that I'm going to still be alive to enjoy this thing.
Yeah. Well, actually, one thing I think is on your horizon is that the script part of the project, construction scheduled to start in a little over a year, and would be complete in about 2019. So that could be there, and then that would be a great asset for Metrolink service. Yeah, as well as the Amtrak service. So I don't know. But high-speed rail won't be at Union Station that soon. I think it's scheduled to be there in 2022, if all went well. And
what's that? 7 years, right? Or not even quite. It's really about 6 years if you think about it. And that's really not so long.
No, yeah, it really isn't. Your Metrolink service should benefit from that. You might be seeing more trains that head into the Inland Empire as a result of the project, because it'll be easier for them just to pull in from the Inland Empire, pull up to Union Station, drop everybody off, and then rather than do the whole backing up and jimmying back and forth, they just drive right through and can basically make a loop back to the Inland Empire.
Yeah, I mean, and that makes a lot of sense. And you were talking a week or so ago about an extension from Claremont to Ontario. I think it was Claremont. I forget actually. And that all ties in and really sounds like an efficient way to go. People that are living downtown. There's more people living downtown now than what they've had in the last few years. And if those people want to travel, a lot of them would probably rather go to Ontario than LAX.
You're absolutely right, especially if there was a really convenient train service to get there.
Yeah.
A week or two ago, we'd been talking about people who live in the foothill communities of the San Gabriel Valley, Pasadena to Claremont, hopping on the Gold Line to get to Ontario Airport and just give up on LAX. With the pass-through through Union Station, you'd start picking up downtown people, as well as even south of downtown. Because it's even from downtown, only when traffic is perfect is it fairly easy to get to LAX, and that just doesn't happen often.
But if you think about it, I mean, at least from my point of view, if they had a really good rail system and a connection system, I could see myself traveling into LA to have a nice dinner, maybe theater, doing more things downtown. But right now, to get in my car and make that trek, it had better be something really, really special. Otherwise, I'm not going to be involved. But if I could just take the train and let them get me there and have a taxi take me wherever I want to go, or a bus or whatever I'm going to do, that would be enticing for me.
Yeah, and that would be great to know, and I'm glad to hear that. I have felt that pull similarly. Close to my client site here, I have the LA Philharmonic, the LA Opera, Amundsen Theater, Dorothy Chandler, plenty of performances, plays and musicals, all happen right here. And what I've told my family is, well, I'm here. How do you feel about trying to drive through all that traffic, say at 5:30 and hope you get here by showtime at 7?
Yeah, how about I'm already here. How about jumping on the train and meet me for dinner, an early dinner and a show?
Yeah, exactly. And there are plenty of great restaurants around here, and as you pointed out, there are an increasing number of residents here, and I'm seeing the nightlife is picking up.
Yeah.
The downtown doesn't roll up at 5 p.m. when all the workers leave.
Yeah. You know what? I think that's an exciting thing, because for the longest time, the city of Los Angeles, they just folded up and packed up the sidewalks at 5 o'clock, and then the city was dead. And yet, Los Angeles used to be a really, really exciting city, and it can be that again, especially with all these changes that you're talking about.
Yeah. And, eventually, once more and more people start living here, I have grown to appreciate, while here at this client site, just how beautiful it is here. You don't think it, but especially if you're up on the north side of downtown, you have a beautiful view of the San Gabriel Mountains, and they're there, almost all the time. And smog has come way down in the last 20 years. So, beautiful views, great sea breezes, make it here nice and fresh. And, it's a beautiful spot. It really, I can see why, I understand why the metropolitan area got started here. There was water, there was some high ground, there were beautiful views, good soil, and it all makes sense.
Yeah, it really does. And you know what? And I could see people, instead of buying, big homes out in the suburbs and things like that, just buying nice apartments in living in a high rise in LA, and not having to do all the upkeep and all the maintenance and all the rest of the stuff, other than what they're doing with the water out there. But other than that, basically, I could see that as being a lot of fun. And then if you had all this infrastructure, all these restaurants and theater and all the nightlife and all the things, the sporting events, gosh, you're right there.
Yeah, it's all right here. All right here. And, if Union Station continues to develop and move its way out of this kind of awkward adolescence into a real transportation asset, that could be remarkable for LA's, downtown LA's development.
Yeah. Well, I can see it as being critical for that. That's the difference between success and failure. If they put that in there, that's going to be the enticement is going to be the catalyst for everything else. Indeed.
Yeah, it starts getting easy to get here, and then more and more people will come. That's to my way of thinking, having grown up in Chicago, that's part of downtown Chicago's success is it's easily accessible by rail, and kind of a symbiotic relationship. There were events to draw people there, and people would take the trains to get there, as well as the people who resided locally, and it makes them very well attended. And so, people come, they offer more events, more people come, more events.
Yeah.
It's a really vibrant part of the metropolitan life. And, I think LA would really benefit from that.
Yeah, absolutely would. Absolutely would. I mean, it would just be exciting. I remember when I was a little boy, and every once in a while we'd stay in LA, and it was a treat. It was exciting, and you heard all the noise from the cabs and the cars and the city noises and the excitement of going to the Statler Hilton to the Starlight Room for a magnificent dinner, maybe going to the Coliseum for a football game. It was just an exciting event, just going to the city,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, think about it. If LA gets the 2024 games, I mean, that's Olympic Games is really potentially becoming a part of the city's culture.
Yeah.
If you've got some athletic skill, there are tremendous opportunities here. I mean, there are just venues because of the two past games, venues scattered all around the metropolitan area. Where kids, when they're 5, 6, 8, 10 years old, they start developing their athletic skills, and they have great venues for participating.
You know what? Absolutely. You start getting these role models, and the young kids start seeing that there's something to strive for. There's something, and they wind up becoming successes at something they enjoy doing. It doesn't become a job. It doesn't become work. It becomes something they just thoroughly enjoy, and they get paid for it.
Yeah, and isn't that the best of all worlds?
Absolutely. You know what? I've been lucky in my life. I've never had a job that I just hated the drive over to the job. I always had a career where I couldn't wait to get to work. I enjoyed what I was doing. I loved it. It didn't feel like work to me, and I didn't realize until I was much older that I was unique. There were a lot of people that their work was just a drudgery. They had to put in their time to make barely enough money to put some food on the table. And I never had those kinds of issues. And so, if you can do something you enjoy and get paid for it, well, you've got the best of all worlds starting right from there.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. The opportunity to work on things that, on transportation or infrastructure projects that change and develop a city, that is really exciting.
I mean, can you imagine where you're sitting there and you're in the ground floor of all these negotiations and all this planning and all these things going on, and you see that go to become a reality, the satisfaction you have, and then one day later on you're driving by and you're telling Annalisa, hey, you know what, I was involved in the plans for this building before there was anything there, or the plans for this structure before anything was there. How exciting is that?
Oh, indeed. In fact, LA is about to build a brand new, beautiful bridge, the 6th Street Bridge, and I've been involved in some of the early real estate activity on that, and it's very satisfying to see not only that this project is about to be built, but they actually made an award-winning design. It is going to be a beautiful bridge. Yeah. Really, really beautiful bridge. It'll become a new landmark for LA.
And how wonderful is that? And now if we can just keep the taggers away from it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so listen, we've got 35 seconds. What do you want to give us a teaser for next week?
Next week, I think I'm going to talk a little bit more about transportation. Somewhere in California. I haven't decided what yet, but something about transportation.
Sounds good. It always sounds good. So we know that you're in the comfort of your downtown office. Make sure that you stay comfortable on that trip home and stay safe, and make sure that everybody's life that you touch, you make better for it. Don't forget to give that lovely wife of yours a hug and a kiss from me, will you?
That will be my pleasure.
All right. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week, Ray.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, I'm going to be doing the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teachings for your life, the Harvard Business Tip of the Day, and interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:40 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 76 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, it's going all the way down to 51 degrees. It has been colder, but it's pleasant. I'm glad winter is finally here, aren't you? You know, that's just kind of the way I feel about it. But let's get right into the rest of the show. First of all, let's talk about the Harvard Business Tip of the day. And the management tip today is balance your personal and professional selves on Facebook. Yep. It was just a matter of time before I said that, right? You know, more people use Facebook than any other social network, which means that you need a Facebook strategy for your career. Now, this is especially true since we usually use our personal accounts when we're on it. Here are some tips for managing your personal account in relation to your professional identity. First of all, use your lists. Creating different lists for different groups of people, co-workers, friends, and professional contacts, for example, helps you keep track of whom you're sharing things with. And target each post. Before you hit enter, double check who will be able to see it. Should the post be public, for a specific list, or for only you? And view as colleague. You know, use Facebook's view as feature to see what your profile looks like to other people. Make sure your colleagues and your boss see what you intend them to. Make sure that it looks good before they see it, actually, you know. And finally, change your defaults. If you use Facebook on your phone, set your default privacy settings to the narrowest possible audience. It's better to share too narrowly than too widely. Keep that in mind. You'll be glad you did, I promise you. Now, let's talk about the secret daily teaching for your life. You know, this is all about a positive mental attitude. I say that to you every day. I don't know why I say it every day, just to kind of drive it home and to let you know that you really control what your life is. You control whether you're happy or you're sad, if you're successful or if you're a failure. It's all up to you. Now, today, we're going to talk about gratitude. And gratitude is a powerful process for shifting your energy and bringing more of what you want into your life. Be grateful for what you already have, and you will attract more good things. Yep. It's all about your attitude. It's all about a positive mental attitude. It's all about you. Now, let's talk about the birthdays for today. You know what day it is. Sure, it's Wednesday, November the 18th, and it's absolutely somebody's birthday. Oh, yeah. You know what? We got some good ones for today. This guy was born in 1968. An actor. Got his big break with the 2000 comedy action hit Shanghai Noon, starring opposite Hong Kong action star Jackie Chan. Happy birthday, Owen Wilson. Yeah. Good actor, good guy. And Chloe Sevigny, born in 1974, an actress currently starring in the TV series Big Love, playing a fundamentalist Mormon woman. And finally, David Ortiz, born in 1975, Dominican baseball player and designated hitter who has played for the Boston Red Sox since 2003. Happy birthday to all of you. And what happened today on November the 18th in history? Well, I can tell you, in 1963, the first push-button telephone goes into service. Just, I hate to say it, but I remember that. It's fantastic. And in 1985, the Calvin and Hobbes comic strip is first published. And in 1991, Shiite Muslim kidnappers in Lebanon set Anglican Church envoys Terry White and Thomas Sutherland free. And then finally, in 2004, November the 18th, Russia officially ratifies the Kyoto Protocol. Now, our quote for today comes from Catherine Whitehorn. And Catherine says, a good listener is a good talker with a sore throat. That makes sense. You think about it, right? All right. Let's talk about those interesting but useless facts. Did you know the mother flamingo's milk is red? There's a shocker for you, right? Not white, but red. And how about this? The costliest cat ever is named Little Nicky. Who cost his owner $50,000. He is a clone of an older cat. Can you imagine a $50,000 cat? Wow. Hey, chocolate is associated with release of serotonin, the hormone that makes you feel relaxed and calm and happy. Yeah. They also say it's a aphrodisiac, but that's the feeling that you get, right? Yeah, that's it. Everybody loves chocolate. Well, bats see in the dark using a special skill called echolocation. Now, bats make noises and wait for the sound waves to bounce back off of objects as an echo. If it doesn't bounce back, then they can safely fly forward. They can tell the distance of various objects by how quickly the sound waves bounce back to them. Yep, like sonar. That's exactly what it is, as a matter of fact. How about that? As a matter of fact, that's where we got it from. We developed sonar from studying bats. That's kind of interesting, I think. Did you know that despite a population of over 1 billion, China has only about 200 family names? Yeah, that's kind of interesting, too. Did you know that it's illegal in Alabama to wear a fake mustache that causes laughter in church? Go figure. And Las Vegas means the meadows, in Spanish anyway. Ironically, the city in the desert was once abundant in water and vegetation, so they called it Las Vegas. It meant the meadows. And the oldest word in the English language is town. You know what? So you gotta remember some of these things. You'd be surprised. You might win some bets. You never know, right? Did you know that the song Happy Birthday has a copyright that has just finally been released, because now, it used to be if you sang happy birthday, you were infringing on a copyright. You could be sued. Now, that's gone away. You can use that happy birthday anytime you want. Matter of fact, you hear me doing it every day. I play happy birthday on the birthday segment. And the cows and horses, they sleep standing up. I'm glad I don't have to do that. Although I've been able to fall asleep just about anywhere, anytime, any way, depending on how tired I was. Now let me leave you with this. As much as 50 gallons of maple sap are used to make a single gallon of maple syrup, maple sugar. Keep that in mind next time you're pouring it on your pancakes. Now, do not go away. When we come back, I'm going to be answering your emails. My first email comes from Caden Insinius from Grisham, Oregon, asking about the tax treatment of gold. You're going to want to hear this. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:52 p.m. Pacific time. Still 76 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire, on its way to 51 degrees in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? As we're coming down to the wire, time for me to answer your emails, and I want to remind you that this is an entertainment section of the show, and that we always encourage you to use a licensed professional before you do anything. Some of the emails you send me are a little sketchy sometimes. I do my best to give you a comprehensive answer, but that professional is going to actually save you more money than they charge you, and they're going to give you peace of mind and allow you to sleep at night. That's the nice part about it. Now, let's get right into our emails and see what we can do for you today. First off is Caden Insanius from Grisham, Oregon, asking about the tax treatment of gold, and writes, I want to buy gold as a safe investment, but I've been told that it doesn't qualify for capital gains tax treatment. Is this true? Well, Caden, gold bullion is a collectible upon which the top long-term capital gains tax rate is 28%. Instead of the normal 15%. Now, the same tax rate applies to gold coins and exchange-traded funds, a form of tradable security that track the price of gold. Now, you can still profit from gold at the 15% long-term capital gains tax rate by simply investing in gold mining companies or in mutual funds that specialize in holding the stock of such companies. Capital gains realized on their shares is taxed like that on any other corporate shares, but their share prices are highly correlated with the price of gold, and that gives you the opportunity to get that lower tax rate. So, give it some thought. Next email comes from Bilson Hayford from Cortland, New York, asking about gifts of tuition. And he says, my grandson is about to go to college where the annual tuition is well over $14,000. If I pay it for him, will I be making a taxable gift? So here's the thing, Bill. No. Not if you make the payment directly to the college. Now, generally, gifts exceeding the annual gift tax exempt amount of $14,000 per year per giver to any one recipient must be reported by the giver on a gift tax return. But payments made on behalf of an individual directly to an educational or medical institution are not deemed to be gifts to the individual and are tax exempt. In fact, you can make them in any amount on behalf of an individual and still give that individual another $14,000 tax-free. So, write the tuition payment check directly to the college instead of giving the money to your grandchild. It'll work out a lot better for you, I promise, and you'll like it better too. Well, next email comes from Sophia Orozco from Colts Neck, New Jersey, asking about posthumous income. It says, my mother died, and I prepared a joint return for that year that her husband signed for their taxes. Then, for the next year, I received a 1099 from my mother reporting several $1,000s of income to her. Her husband filed a single return for that year. So how do I report this? It's a good question, Sophia. Here's the deal. If the income was from a bank or investment account that her husband or another person inherited through joint ownership or an account beneficiary designation, that person owes the tax on it. Now, if the income was paid to your mother's estate and then distributed by will or state law, consult the executor or administrator of the estate. Ask the issuer of the 1099 to, in the future, send 1099s that name the proper recipient, and that'll take care of it. You won't have any more problems with it. And finally, my last email comes from Melanie Parkerson from Oceanside, California, asking about inherited property basis. And she writes, inherited property gets stepped up basis equal to its market value when it has appreciated in value. But if it has fallen in value, does it get a stepped down basis? Well, Melanie, the answer to your question is yes. When the owner of a property dies, the property's basis, its cost for tax purposes, from which a gain or loss on its sale is determined, becomes its market value at the owner's death. Now, if the property has appreciated in value, the basis is stepped up to its appreciated market value, and taxable gain on appreciation to that date is eliminated. But if the property has fallen in value, basis is correspondingly reduced and deductible capital loss is eliminated. So here's a strategy for you. Hold appreciated property until death to bequeath it to heirs. Sell lost property before death to get a deductible capital loss. That is where you really want to be with this thing. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and on 405 Media Radio Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Also, the Pundit Press, PNN Talk Radio, and SHR Media Radio from John Matthews and the Conservative Syndicate every Monday and Friday from 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where you get all the emails I deal with here on the show. Now, on my next show, Sean LaFay will continue his series Geared for Wellness. We're going to be talking, I think, about politics. We're going to be together for a full 2 segments on tomorrow, and I guarantee you're going to enjoy it. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific Time for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And please, go out and get our app. That way you can listen to our shows anytime you want, 24/7. You can even listen to it live if we're broadcasting live, and you can chat with us while the show is on. You'll love it, and it's absolutely free. Go to the Apple Store and search Robert Cardoza Live, or if you have an Android or Windows product, just go to googleplay.com and you can do the same search, Robert Cardoza Live. It's absolutely free, and you'll be glad you did it, and we'll be able to interact with each other. In the meantime, I want you to stay safe. I want you to be happy. I want you to make everybody's life you touch better because you were in it and because you touched it. And until tomorrow, all I can say is good night, everybody.